If you guys have been watching me for any amount of time, you know I am a man who loves common sense. A man of logic. A man of logic. I want to watch my wrestling shows, and I want to watch something happen one week, and then look back on that week as we progress further 2-3 weeks into the TV show. Look back on that one week and say, you know what? I like where they're going with this. I like the direction in which this company is taking this particular storyline. It's one thing to introduce a new title or a new set of titles. Usually when that happens, you have to have a plan of attack, a plan of action, direction, storylines written out. You should visualize where you want to take champion and championships. It's one thing to do that. I would understand it a little bit better. Then on the other side of the fence, it's another thing to create said championships, have no plans for them, put them around the waists of two people who can't wrestle at all, and then have no plans or any direction whatsoever. And then you look back on everything and realize that it was nothing more than a complete waste of everybody's time. Sasha Banks and Bayley, for I would say many months leading up to WrestleMania, were the one team, legitimately, that we could look at and say collectively as a community, the titles were made specifically for them. I would like to see the titles around their waist because they are the two women in this company that are going to bring legitimacy to a new set of championships. And everyone could look at them and say, man, these titles got off on the right foot. Those women's tag team titles were made specifically for Bayley and Sasha Banks. We go into WrestleMania and we get a very lazy, booked, very, I would say, unexciting, just boring Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the tag team titles. It was put together in about 2 or 3 weeks with really no direction or planning behind it. And in what should have been Bayley and Sasha Banks' first title defense at WrestleMania, WWE took the titles off of them and gave them to probably two of the worst wrestlers that they have employed on the main roster. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce of the Iconics, or I would like to say the Moronics, or the Idiotics. Because I don't know who in their right mind could be a fan of such miserable wrestlers. Now, WWE really messed everything up right from the get-go. The titles were determined, even though it was not a bad match, and even though the closing sequence of the match between Fire and Desire, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, Sasha Banks and Bayley was really good. I would have liked to see a continuation of that somewhere in the future. We never got it. Instead of putting that title on the line in an Elimination Chamber match, where, to be quite honest, some of the teams in that Elimination Chamber match didn't even qualify to be in that chamber match itself for the vacant tag team title. So, WWE, right out of the gates, was making a mockery of these tag team titles, and I didn't understand why. How are you going to have vacant tag team titles on the line in an Elimination Chamber match, and you have 6 spots in that chamber match, and half of the teams didn't even qualify? What does that tell you? The titles are pretty much worthless right from the beginning. And the fact that WWE doesn't have enough teams to even do qualifying matches, that they had to resort to putting teams in the match just by those teams saying, hi, we're going to announce our inclusion in said Elimination Chamber match. Not really how I would go about things, WWE, but you did it anyway. Off on the right foot. To some people, off on the wrong foot to the logical individual. Because they were all blinded by how the match really was. It was not bad, but you didn't really tell me why you were including teams without them having to qualify. So we get Bayley and Sasha Banks winning the tag team titles. Great. Awesome. You made the right decision. And then literally in April at WrestleMania, you do the one thing that never should have happened. You took the titles off of Sasha Banks and Bayley. For whatever reason. I don't know why. Was WWE's mindset with the tag team titles in mind, let's get these titles off on the right foot? Or was WWE in the mindset of, let's get back at Sasha and Bayley for being pains in the asses. Let's get back at everybody who wanted these tag team titles and show them what we really think of the titles and the women's movements. What did WWE do at WrestleMania? They put them around the waists of Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, not only killing all credibility that could have been brought to those titles, but WWE in the aftermath, because we see these two still as tag team champions, WWE has not lined up any challenges for the Iconics, and WWE is pretty much telling you, without directly telling you, that the women's evolution was nothing more than a political agenda because it was following a trend that they needed to really be in the forefront of, and they really didn't give a shit about it to begin with. It was merely done to get themselves in the headlines, and the women's evolution was nothing more than a farce and one big ha 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 ha. We're going to follow the trend and then we're going to abandon it because all eyes are on WrestleMania, and after WrestleMania is over, who really is going to give a shit? The women's movement was a complete bogus bullshit scam, folks. I mean that wholeheartedly. The women's movement is a bullshit scam. We all got scammed. And I don't understand how anybody could look at the women's division now and then the women's division, say, in December, and think it's the same thing. It's not. The women were putting on better matches than the men on most pay-per-views. Ronda Rousey was brought in to bring legitimacy and a sense of this division is important. When she wasn't there anymore, what happened? WWE went right back to doing what they do best, giving us 2-minute women's matches on Raw and SmackDown. Just look at the weeks that we've seen on Raw and SmackDown. Alexa Bliss wrestled for 5 seconds on Monday Night Raw. Nikki Cross and Carmella wrestled for 3 minutes. Ember Moon and Sonya Deville wrestled for 90 seconds. Or Mandy Rose, whomever. They wrestled, Ember Moon wrestled Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose for less than 5 minutes in back-to-back weeks. And that's 2 matches. Someone the likes of Ember Moon should not be in 5-minute matches with Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. The likes of Ember Moon should not be in 90-second matches with Sonya Deville on 1 week and then 3 minutes with Mandy Rose the next week. I'm sorry. Or whatever the fuck she did on SmackDown Live. There's no reason why Asuka is not on TV. There's no reason why you brought Kairi Sane up and not utilizing her on TV. There's no reason why Ruby Riott, yes, she's out with injury, but there's no reason why Ruby Riott had to be strapped down with 2 women who are well below her talent, fighting Bayley and Sasha Banks and a mixture of Natalya and random partners throughout most of 2018. There's no reason why Ruby Riott should not be a multi-time women's champion in the WWE. There's no reason why Mickie James should be on the sideline and treated as unimportant. She comes out through the curtain and gets no fan reaction whatsoever. There's no reason why Liv Morgan was brought up to the main roster to sit in catering for 14 weeks now. After being drafted to SmackDown Live, broken up from the Riot Squad, and then belittled down to nothing. There's no reason why Sarah Logan, with her Viking lifestyle, should be off TV. Find a spot for her. Put her with the War Raiders. There's no reason why all the women in NXT that we look at and admire and enjoy watching working, there's no reason why the fans should look at NXT's women's division and then have no hope for any one of them when they get demoted to the main roster. Everybody suffers the same fate. There's no reason why Charlotte should be put in a main event title match for basically doing nothing. No reason. Absolutely no reason whatsoever. There's no reason why Lacey Evans should be in the position that she's in when she's not ready and she hasn't accumulated any wins for herself on the main roster. The women's division is a joke, folks. We went from having Charlotte, Asuka, and Becky in main events, from Evolution to Charlotte and Becky in that Falls Count Anywhere match, which was amazing. They went nearly 30 minutes and killed themselves. Right back to the next pay-per-view with Charlotte, Becky, and Asuka in a triple threat ladder match at TLC, to Becky and Asuka at the Royal Rumble. Same show we had Ronda and Sasha for the Raw Women's Championship. What happened? What happened? The focus on the women went from priority, and when Ronda went away, went right back to what happened when Ronda was not affiliated with the WWE. We got scammed. They got our hopes up. They got our excitement levels through the roof. Women's wrestling is finally back on the main roster the way it's being seen in NXT. And now we look at the women's division and the women's roster on both Raw and SmackDown. It's nothing but a scam. What did WWE do? They did what they had to do to fill that spotlight. They did what they had to do to fill the billboards and get the mainstream media's attention as far as women's athletes and women's division in WWE and women's championship, first time ever, blah, 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 blah. It was nothing but a farce. The women's division is a joke. It's nothing more than a joke. And it's never going to be the same way. And that's sad to say. Because when Ronda Rousey comes back, because you know she's coming back, WWE's going to go right back to booking the division with legitimacy. So what does that say about all the women you have on your roster compared to Ronda Rousey? You don't trust them, but it's okay when Ronda comes in, because then at that point with Ronda leading the way, then you'll trust them. I don't understand it. Where's the tender love and care for you women now? Look at the division you have. Look at the talent that you got. Why is Sasha Banks sitting at home? For the reasons I just gave you. There's no doubt in my mind that that woman is upset. And if she comes back, I would be disappointed. She might be forced back because she has no choice. But I know deep down that that woman doesn't want to be there with what's going on. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. You think WWE's going to change their tune because Sasha Banks is coming back to the WWE? You know what I told you as far as Sasha Banks returning. You turn that woman into a heel, and you give me a legit women's storyline. You build the division and the title around her. Becky has no opponent. There's no one on that roster outside of a Shayna Baszler who you could put in the ring to make Becky stand out like she did with Ronda. If it's not Shayna, it's got to be a heel Sasha. That's the only thing I'm interested in. And you turn everything that woman's been through into a real-life fucking angle, and you go about booking that woman as the head of her division. That's what needs to be done. I went into this rant because we finally got a reason as to why the women's tag team championships were treated the way that they did when they were around the waist of Bayley and Sasha Banks. Just a few weeks after they announced their retirement from in-ring action, Brie and Nikki Bella were already planning on returning to the ring. Turns out that the reason why Bayley and Sasha Banks dropped the women's tag team titles at WrestleMania 35 is because WWE had plans for the Moronics to feud with the Bella Twins. As most of you know by now, the late decision to have Bayley and Sasha Banks had some people baffled because it looked like WWE had long-term plans for Banks and Bayley. In fact, they had Banks and Bayley appear on NXT TV just a few weeks before WrestleMania and promised that they would be back to defend their titles on all WWE shows, SmackDown included, NXT included, and that included TakeOver. I mentioned this with a lot of different women in that tag team championship spot. If you're going to present champions to go down to NXT and then feature them possibly on a TakeOver show, what women would be perfect for that billing? Would it be the Iconics? No. The Iconics don't even belong speaking TakeOver out of their mouth, let alone being billed and booked for a show. Sasha Banks and Bayley were two women who you could look at that you could plug into any storyline on NXT with the women and feature them on a TakeOver because Sasha and Bayley are worthy of a TakeOver. Their talent and in-ring, whatever they do in-ring, is TakeOver worthy. Can you look at any women on the main roster right now outside of the obvious and think they're ready for TakeOver? The answer is no. Sasha and Bayley perfectly fit that bill. Those plans changed when WWE decided on the Bella Twins versus the Iconics. The WWE wanted the Bella Twins versus the Iconics for the tag team championships. Clearly that did not happen. Clearly that is not happening. But WWE's mindset was to take the titles off of Bayley and Sasha Banks and put them on the line in this match between the Bella Twins and the Iconics. I don't know who made this decision. I don't know who came up with this thought. But if you are this individual who came up with this thought, you need to have your creative writing removed from WWE. You need to be just removed of the pen and all your writing ability revoked. This is awful. I don't know who thinks this is the right idea. Now, I'm not saying the Bella Twins shouldn't factor into a tag team title match if they went about it the right way and did what the original plan should have been, and that is to make a tournament out of teams. 8 teams in this women's tag team tournament leading up to the final being at WrestleMania. I would have been okay with the Bella Twins reaching the finals with Sasha and Bayley, not the Iconics. You could have did the Bella Twins versus the Iconics in the tournament and then had the Bella Twins advance to the finals along with Sasha and Bayley, and those 2 teams fight over the vacant tag team titles. But what did WWE do? They did the Elimination Chamber where only half of the teams qualified to be in the Elimination Chamber match itself. This is an awful idea that I'm glad will never see the light of day. On the recent edition of the Bella Twins podcast, Nikki talked about her neck issues and meant that she could never wrestle again. She doesn't want to wrestle again, and the neck issues are as serious as everybody is reporting. She also revealed the plans were laid out for their post-WrestleMania storyline. She says this, and I quote, "Brie and I, we were going to come back and fight for the tag team titles after WrestleMania, and we were going to go against the Iconics for a few months. Deep down inside, I kept having this weird feeling that I needed to get an x-ray on my neck because for a while, I wasn't feeling okay. Brie knows that in December after Evolution, I just kept telling her that I feel off and my head doesn't feel right." End quote. Nikki then went on to say she went to a detox spa and she was fine for a short time, but then she started not feeling so great again and she had her blood drawn and she tried other things that helped for a short time. Brie said, and I quote, "We had our gear, we had everything." Nikki then added on top of what Brie said, "We were ready. Bella Twins were coming back in a big way." End quote. Brie said that they were supposed to return on the SmackDown Live after WrestleMania 35 to kick off the feud with the Iconics. However, Nikki's MRI results derailed those plans. Doctors told her that she had inflammation around the middle of her neck and her neck is fully herniated. Even worse, doctors found a benign cyst on her brain. She was told that one bad bump could cause her to be paralyzed. Thank God, just for that sake, she's not coming back. The match has nothing to do with it. Health first. So this and all the findings were actually a blessing in disguise. First and foremost for herself, and second of all, this derailed plans that should have never even been conceived. This would explain why the Iconics have not done anything noteworthy since winning the title since WrestleMania 35. They've been wrestling Asuka and Kairi Sane on live events, but have yet to defend those titles on pay-per-view since they won them in April. They are currently not advertised for a match at Extreme Rules, even though Asuka and Kairi Sane won a match in Japan on WWE's last tour to win the number 1 contendership for said tag team titles. If I'm Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff, I am abolishing these titles. That's what I would do. They were never needed to begin with. For all these idiots who said that the titles were needed, you simply fell into WWE's agenda. You simply fell into WWE's trap of them believing and getting you to believe that A, the women's movement was in dire need of tag team titles, and that the women's division was where it should be. Clearly it's not. It reached this peak and WWE suckered you all into thinking that these titles were something that they were really not. And here we are. And I'm looking back at everything I said about the titles and I've been proven 100% correct. I don't understand why these titles were ever instituted. I don't know why they were created to begin with. I don't know why anybody ever thought that we needed tag team titles when WWE couldn't even get their women's division and their women's championships right now right. What makes you think that they were going to book tag team titles correctly. You don't even have to look at the women's division. You could look at the tag team men's division and realize that the tag team titles were dead before they were even unveiled. They couldn't get it right with the men. What makes you think they're going to get it right with the women? The women's division was nothing more than a bogus fucking scam, folks. We've all been had. Hook, line, and sinker. If I'm Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff, those titles are stripped and abolished, just like everything else. In my fantasy world, in my dream world, Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff take over these shows. A draft is taking place on SummerSlam weekend. That Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam. And these rosters are separate. They have their own identities, their own championships. And championships that are not needed are completely done away with and abolished. The biggest reset button in the history of this company is hit. And everything is turned upside down on its head. Whatever we're doing now, what good is it? The titles are worthless. Those titles have been damaged so much in less than 6 months that even if they want to put focus on them, at the end of the day, who's going to care? Not you, not me, not anybody. And if you do, you're nothing but a sucker. This is Off the Script, folks. Episode 281, part number 3 for you Sunday. Got a lot of SmackDown news on Dolph Ziggler, Kevin Owens, Kofi Kingston, and Big E. And why The Undertaker came back for Extreme Rules. And when his decision to come back was actually made. All this plus so much more right here on Off the Script. We'll hit the intro. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Delete! This is mine.
Alive with it. People still didn't. So this morning, I get up and I have a taste in my mouth for Dunkin' Donuts coffee. All I wanted this morning was a large Dunkin' Donuts coffee and a sausage, egg, and cheese on a bagel, toasted. That's all I wanted. And I gave up bread. By the way, I gave up bread and pasta for the entire month of June, or the majority of the month, and I'm going to continue it on into July. This is the only time I've had bread. This weekend, 4th of July weekend, that's it. Going right back to not having bread or pasta for the rest of the month. It's another story. I had a taste for Dunkin' and a breakfast sandwich. 4th of July holiday came, cops are out, full force, full time, crazy. Pulling people over, drunken, driving everywhere, right? You don't want to get caught on the holiday weekend. Parked my car under a tree. Parked my car under a tree on the next block that is not the block in which I live because of the parking for the holiday. Park it under a tree. In this tree, apparently, is 2 nests. There are 2 birds the size of the dam Kevin Dunn has been building for the last 30 years, apparently. And it rained. And apparently due to the rain, the birds didn't want to fly and go anywhere. They wanted to remain steady. And they wanted to remain in their nests, nesting their eggs. I walk out this morning and I take a look at my car. And I swear to God, I thought somebody vandalized my car so badly. I didn't think it was bird shit, to be quite honest with you. I thought it was eggs. I thought it was maybe paint. And then I legitimately am standing there mortified as if I seen a fucking ghost. And I just hear bird shitting. Literally 20 feet away from me, the bird is fucking just dumping shit on my car. And I'm mortified like this, just standing there. So I wasn't sure if I was to get in the car and remove it from the spot and park it double parked in front of my apartment and somehow clean it off, or just leave it there and say, fuck it. Continue to shit on my car. Hopefully I win the fucking Powerball next week. Apparently it's good luck. So, I was mortified. I wanted to get into the car and move, but at the same time, I didn't want to get into the car because I got a beautiful Mustang and I'm embarrassed to drive the fucking car because it's covered in bird shit. I didn't want to drive it. I didn't even want to drive it around the fucking corner. God knows who was going to see it. Pointing and laughing at me. Ha ha ha, look at this fucking asshole. You know? I didn't know what to do. So I got in. I parked it in front of my house. Double parked it. Or I parked in someone's driveway. Illegally. Filled a bucket of car wash and hot water. Frantically ran back and forth with 3 different buckets. Cleaned the car off. Got as much of it off as I could. Got into the car. Went to the nearest car wash. Paid $28 for an entire cleaning and detailing inside and out. Brand new. I hope your mornings were better than mine. Seriously. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. If you don't believe me, you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram and see the picture for yourself. Because it's posted on both social media websites. At JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Hey, if you guys want to join the channel, become a member as well, you guys can certainly do that. Normally the perks are you guys get off the script early. Didn't happen this weekend because it's the holiday and everything got messed up. Right back to business next week. Same deal with the Patreon page. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Optional, and it's the only way to get exclusive content not available on YouTube. I want to thank everybody for going out and getting the JD's Elite t-shirt, which, by the way, is still available on bonfire.com. It didn't go anywhere. It's going to be for sale as long as I have a podcast, because I love the shirt. I love the design. Salrex did a great job on it. Talking to Salrex, and we're coming up with ideas. I have a simple yet clean design I want to get out there to you guys. Hopefully we can get that for you in a couple of weeks. It will be on Bonfire. Same font and everything, but with the excitement that is surrounding All Elite Wrestling, man, I got to do something that would fit into the Elite family. JD's Elite. So look forward to that, man. We got some ideas for new t-shirts, but again, if you guys want to go get your t-shirts, we got the Team JD design still available and JD's Elite on bonfire.com. Link is down below. If you guys missed anything that I uploaded this week, make sure you guys go and check it. We got the part 1 of this weekend's podcast. Paul Heyman, his influence was not exactly what you thought it was. We go into detail on why Raw was the same shit that you see in every single week, with a lot of idiots stamping that the show was better than it has been. No, it hasn't. It was literally the same shit with Paul Heyman's name associated with it, so everybody who shit on the show got attacked in some way, shape, or form. I go over that in great detail as to why you guys need to take a step back. Part 2, we talked about Roman Reigns saying AEW is not competition for WWE. I don't know what he's smoking. I don't know what drugs he's taking, but apparently everybody in WWE thinks that AEW is not competition. Every move that WWE continues to make, every move that WWE has made it very well known that AEW is certainly competition, whether it's NXT, NXT UK, or the main roster. So I don't understand why this notion of AEW is not true competition is going around. You're an idiot if you think otherwise. So make sure you guys go and check that out. Everything you need is linked in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of the screen. Raw, SmackDown, and NXT during the week are there as well. Harrys.com/script. That is our unique link. If you're a listener of Off the Script and need a new way to go about shaving, I got you covered, man. Join me and become one of the 10 million who have tried Harry's and claim your special offer today by going to harrys.com/scripts. Harry's, we're just 2 regular guys tired of getting ripped off and paying for overpriced gimmicks. Gimmicks like vibrating heads, flex balls, handles that look like a prop in a cheesy sci-fi movie. These were just some of the tactics that the leading brands used to overcharge us for years. Harry's makes quality, durable blades at a fair price. Listen, folks, $2 per blade. You can't beat that. To keep prices low, they cut out the middleman. They bought out a world-class blade factory in Germany that's been making quality blades, some of the best razor blades in the world, for over 99 years. They can provide you great quality at factory direct prices and a 100% guarantee because of this. If you don't love your shave, let them know and they will give you a full refund. What you guys are going to get by using harrys.com/script. Razor handle with an easy grip. Choice of color is yours. Orange, navy blue, or the evergreen. 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade for a close, comfortable shave. Rich lathering shave gel that will leave you smelling great. And a travel blade cover to keep your razor dry and easy on the go. Listeners of Off the Script can redeem their trial set by using harrys.com/script. Make sure you guys go to harrys.com/script to redeem your offer and let them know that JD sent you to help support Off the Script. Being that we talked about Sasha and Bayley in the beginning of this podcast with the tag team titles and the situation that happened there with the Bellas and the Iconics, there is some Sasha Banks news. And I got news on a possible return for the boss. Apparently, WWE is still in talks with Sasha Banks about a WWE return to Raw in the next coming weeks. Now, there are reports that WWE and Banks are in continual contact, and there have been discussions about how to encourage her back. This is very interesting because it could mean that a return might be right around the corner. Now, the wording in this particular report is that WWE is still encouraging her back, and that's also notable because it could lead to Banks coming back into a major WWE storyline at any given moment, and WWE could, I would say, give her what she rightfully deserves as a way to entice her on the way back. I hope that's not the case because when I hear about the word encouraging, WWE TV has not been encouraging whatsoever. It's been anything but encouraging. I don't know why Sasha Banks would watch the program and watch what the women are doing and then find it to be encouraging. There's nothing encouraging about anything that's going on with the women right now in WWE, going on into Extreme Rules, and I don't expect that to be going into SummerSlam. Now, reports that Sasha Banks is away from WWE are true. She's been in Japan. If you guys have been watching her Instagram, she's in Japan, I believe. She was all over. She was in Jamaica, having a great time, relaxing, living her life like she deserves. Now, the reports are going and reporting that her hiatus from WWE isn't being seen as anything too out of the ordinary. In fact, one source in the company reportedly said that a few people asked for time off from WWE following WrestleMania. A few people asked for time off after WrestleMania, and Sasha Banks has worked extremely long and extremely hard, and thus, she has earned it. End quote. Despite having so much going on with the company, this particular source says that WWE, once Sasha Banks is back with the WWE, she will slot right back into whatever they got going on at this time. They've gone with Bayley, and she's doing well. When Sasha comes back, she will slot right back in. I don't necessarily think that's the best way to go about things. I don't think Sasha Banks is really looking at WWE and finding it to be all that encouraging, to be quite honest with you, like I mentioned. And the only thing that WWE could do with Sasha, if they want her to come back and really find comfort in things being done the right way, is to give her a major program with Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. That's pretty much it. The wild card rule needs to die. I don't give a shit what you got going on. I don't give a shit who you are. I don't give a shit what your opinion is. The wild card rule needs to die. Die. I don't want WWE to bring Sasha Banks back in and put her on SmackDown when we know she's on Raw, just for the simple fact of her going after Bayley. It's not going to work that way, and I think that match deserves the proper build. Charlotte more than likely is going to get Bayley at SummerSlam because I don't see anything else for Bayley to do. I really don't. They've done Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is probably going to feud with Nikki Cross, and after that, Bayley doesn't have anybody else outside Charlotte. I'd love to see Ember Moon in that position, but I don't think Ember Moon's going to be given that type of spotlight on the women's roster in the women's division over said Charlotte. So WWE will probably slot Charlotte in there because she's Charlotte Flair and she doesn't have to do anything to get a title shot these days. Sasha Banks You know, you could say the same thing should be slotted right back into the title picture, but it would be much more interesting than whatever Charlotte has going on, because where we look at Charlotte, where she's undeserving 9 times out of 10, Sasha Banks is looked at as somebody who deserves a women's championship and a championship title reign. And she deserves to be slotted back into the title picture. And a match with Becky Lynch, with heel Sasha and babyface Becky, is something that I could easily get behind, especially if it pushes Sasha Banks to be the heel, which I know dwells deep inside her. Sasha works better as a heel. I love Sasha regardless, but I don't think Sasha works better as a babyface at all. Because you know Sasha has that NXT ratchet heel Sasha just waiting to break out. And it's been hidden away. It's been hidden away for many, many, many years. We've seen glimpses of it. We've seen glimpses of it when she was feuding with Ronda Rousey. That was the best Sasha Banks has looked in many, many, many years on the main roster, because she got on the mic. She brought back that old NXT Sasha Banks that we all fell in love with to begin with. Just for a little bit. Just a little bit. It peeked her head out, and that was it. We never seen it again. They won the tag team titles. They went right back to being the Boston Hug Connection, and then they lost the tag team titles, and here we sit with Sasha Banks on hiatus from WWE. Is it really a hiatus, or is this woman genuinely frustrated that the women's division is exactly what I said it was in the beginning of this show? A joke. It's a bogus farce. It's nothing more than a political agenda for WWE, because they don't really stand behind any of the women that they have on the main roster right now. And in some cases, you could look at the women's division and WWE stance on the women's division. They don't want to, just like the men, they don't want to push someone to the spotlights to overshadow the entire company. They don't want one superstar to be bigger than the WWE. They want to have a lot of superstars, but they don't want to have someone that is going to be more popular than the brand WWE itself. This is why they suppress the majority of their talent. This is why we have not seen the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, or the next Rock, or the next Trish Stratus, or the next Lita, or the next John Cena. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and AJ Styles and everybody you see on the main roster right now, they're not a pimple on John Cena's ass. None of them. Nobody on the men's side and the women. It's Ronda Rousey. WWE had no choice but to put Ronda Rousey in that type of spotlight. And they just don't want to get behind anybody else on their roster right now. That's what WWE needs to do. Bring Sasha Banks back and make everything that she is going through right now a real-life storyline, CM Punk style, to feud with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is suffering because of WWE's inability to create a legit challenger. Becky Lynch is suffering because of WWE's inability to give her a quality heel like they did with Ronda going into WrestleMania. They can't do that. They did it with Charlotte. Becky was fine with Charlotte. She played off of Charlotte. It was great. They did it with Ronda. Becky was fine. Becky fed off of Ronda. After that, Lacey Evans isn't going to do the trick, guys. Lacey Evans is nowhere ready to be in that spotlight. She's not a good heel. She's not a believable heel. She can barely get it done in the ring. Becky needs somebody on or greater than her level to be in the ring with. There's nobody better than Sasha Banks. Unless you want to turn Asuka completely heel and have Asuka show up on Monday Night Raw and go after the title and get a rematch out of Becky Lynch. Simple as that. I don't understand that. You have all these pieces on the roster and you fail to utilize them and use them to the best of their ability. If it's not Asuka, it's got to be Sasha Banks. One or the other. And I don't see WWE doing either of those. But I think that's the best case for Sasha Banks. Heel, Becky, SummerSlam, book it. You got my attention. Sheamus is back on the road with WWE. He might be somebody else that has been given a hiatus from WWE, because after WrestleMania, he was done. Sheamus hasn't competed since WrestleMania, but he hasn't been lazy at all during his WWE hiatus. He has worked his ass off at the gym, and apparently, according to reports, he is in the best shape of his career. PW Insider reports that Sheamus is on the road with the company as of this past week and will be going to do a signing wherever WWE is needing him. At Lakeland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas last week, WWE had Sheamus do a signing. Hopefully that means his WWE return is within sight. Sheamus dropped some weight, and he is more cut now than ever before, and his workouts have done wonders for him. His Celtic Warrior workouts on YouTube have done wonders for him. He suffers from stenosis, and some in the company were reportedly shocked that he was able to work through WrestleMania. He obviously used his time off well and is still looking great. The biggest question is what he might end up doing if he does make a return to the ring, being that Cesaro is on Monday Night Raw and now in a new singles role. I don't know. I don't know what they do. I honestly think that Sheamus and Cesaro complemented each other. There's no reason why Sheamus can't come back and team with Cesaro, and they could still do their singles things. I don't want to see Sheamus end up on SmackDown Live and end up as a single, because I don't really like Sheamus as a single. I never did. I think he's very boring. I honestly think he worked great in a tag team with Cesaro, and that was the best thing that WWE has ever done with both guys. And Cesaro's had a lot of partners, from Tyson Kidd to Jack Swagger, and it seemed to work. It worked with Jack Swagger, and WWE just didn't pull the trigger on it. Don't know why. Still don't know why to this very day. They were over as fuck. But it worked with Sheamus. They had that seven match series, best of 7, and they just came to a stalemate. And that was legitimately the best thing that Mick Foley did as his time as GM, and it worked wonders for both guys. I don't want to see them broken up. I never wanted to see them broken up. And I honestly think they're more valuable to the tag team division than they are the singles divisions or the mid-card divisions. You can brag and you could boast and make a case for Cesaro being a singles guy, but is WWE really going to get behind Cesaro in a singles role? He might get a singles role to an extent and vie for the U.S. title, but he's never going to achieve that WWE status that we all know he could. You put him in the ring with anybody, he's going to make a fucking 5-star match with anybody in that ring. In fact, he's being rumored as Aleister Black's opponent at Extreme Rules. I don't know what's going to happen with that. There were rumors going around that Cesaro was going to reveal himself as Aleister Black's mystery knock. I don't know what that means, but we'll see what happens. If that's the match at Extreme Rules, you got my interest. I also heard rumors of Bray Wyatt being Aleister Black's first opponent, but that would be absolutely terrible. And that cannot happen because both men need to be undefeated. Neither man can suffer a loss at this stage. Bray Wyatt, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Aleister Black certainly can't lose in his first singles match after 2 weeks of sitting in a closet. Now he wants to come out of the closet and you want to put him against Bray Wyatt? I don't think so. I think Cesaro is the perfect candidate because Cesaro never turns down a fight. I think that would be great. Now, Sheamus, I don't know where he goes from here. We haven't seen him back on TV since this report, but hopefully he comes back and he is ready to go. And if he really does have spinal stenosis, who knows how long he will be able to maintain an in-ring career. We'll see what happens. But as far as I'm concerned, and as far as from the reports I heard, he is in the best shape of his life, and he's nowhere ready to hang up the wrestling boots just yet. So we'll see what happens. And if WWE wants to focus on tag team wrestling, why not? I wish they would. Sounds like I'm speaking to a fucking wall every time I mention WWE and tag team wrestling in the same breath. I wish that they would. The Bar is a great tag team to be involved with whatever you got going on with tag team wrestling. And if WWE wants to do that, which I hope that they would, because AEW is going to have the best tag team division on this planet come October, WWE should be right there and give us tag team wrestling like AEW, you know, is going to give you. We'll see what happens. And if you know that AEW is going to give you great tag team wrestling, one would hope WWE does the same thing. And if they do, why are they doing that? Because it's competition, folks. Again, like I said on Saturday, never believe anybody on the active roster when they say AEW is not competition. Everything that they do signals that AEW is competition. The mere words out of their mouth, AEW, the initials AEW out of their mouth, signifies competition. If they weren't competition, you wouldn't be uttering them in the same breath. You wouldn't even be mentioning them or bringing them attention whatsoever. You're fueling the fire. You're poking the bear. Simple as that. See what happens with Sheamus. I'd like to see him back with Cesaro. The Bar was fantastic. What is not fantastic is the simple fact that Dolph Ziggler is right back to being irrelevant. I don't like saying that because Dolph is so fucking talented. Dolph Ziggler back full-time with the WWE. He spoke to Saturday night's main event, man. Or Sunday night's main event. What a unique name for a podcast. Sunday night's main event. I think people just want to be a podcast for the sake that it's the in thing to do nowadays, and then they come up with a generic name like Sunday night's main event. Anyway, Dolph Ziggler revealed that his plan to return and face Kofi was planned 3 months ahead of time. Sure it was, Ziggs. Sure it was, Dolph. Therefore, it wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. Oh, you mean to tell me WWE didn't pick up the phone after Money in the Bank and told you, bro, we got no competition for Kofi. Do you want to come back and wrestle Kofi for a cool meal at Super Showdown? Bro, yeah, I'll do it. Goodbye. That's exactly what happened. As if Vince Russo's calling up Ziggler. Yo, Dolph, bro, listen, bro. I got Kofi on SmackDown Live, bro. The WWE title is irrelevant, bro. We need to make his title reign, bro, look important, bro. Are you gonna come back, bro? I got the Saudi Arabian show, bro. Super Showdown, bro. We gotta get you in the ring. You wrestled Kofi about 16 times in the past, bro. I gotta get Kofi's title reign to a point where the fans look at it and it's important, bro. Please, you gotta come back. I'll pay you a cool meal. If you don't want to take the cool meal, I'll bump it up to 1.5 million, bro. What do you say? I'll even come to your comedy show, comp my vodka and coke, or whatever, my Jack and Coke, or my vodka and tonic, whatever the fuck you got over there, bro. Or give me a Heineken, bro, because us Long Islanders, we gotta drink fucking shitty beer. I don't know. Whatever. Ziggler's back full time, and apparently, according to this clown, it was in the works. Really? It was in the works. I don't believe that report for a split second. Ziggler also confirmed he's back as a full-time superstar with WWE, so his hiatus is over. I don't know who is interested in seeing Dolph. I wish he'd go back to doing fucking stand-up comedy, to be quite honest with you. In fact, Ziggler shouldn't even be affiliated with the WWE. He should have went to AEW. But WWE probably kept him around and gave him a nice 5-year deal to sit on his ass and fucking do nothing for them, and then go do his comedy whenever he wants. Just for the simple fact that he's not in an AEW ring. So what does this mean? Ziggler's back with the WWE. Nobody gives a shit. He showed up to do 3 matches with Kofi, and he's right back in the same boats that he was in when he left. So how is this good for Dolph? So what's more important to Dolph? The fact that he's back and making some decent money? Or the fact that his wrestling career is pretty much at a stalemate still? He was not gone long enough. He was not gone long enough for us to miss him. Should have been gone for about a year, 2 years max. 2 years max. Then maybe people would have missed him. The fact that he came back after being away since January to attack Kofi was not really all that surprising. And then whatever surprise that it was or intrigue that it had, it kind of went out the window the following week when we realized that it was Super Showdown and then the next pay-per-view and then the next pay-per-view. Come on, folks. Not really that big of a deal. Dolph Ziggler and Kevin Owens even participated in a match on SmackDown Live this week where they teamed together against Heavy Machinery, and the winner of that match being inserted into the tag team title match at Extreme Rules. Owens and Ziggler clearly did not pull off the win there. So he goes from WWE Championship, losing 3 times to Kofi, and then right into another title picture just because. SmackDown was great, folks. SmackDown was great according to everybody. How is it great when that itself does not make any sense? Logic does not exist. Wins and losses don't exist either. But apparently, the more you lose, the more you get preferential treatment at WWE. So instead of that, Ziggler was attacked by Owens after the match, and this turned Owens babyface with no explanation whatsoever. Speaking of Kevin Owens, he turned babyface on SmackDown Live. Dave Meltzer discussed Kevin Owens' babyface turn during Wrestling Observer Radio. This now resets KO to where WWE wanted him in the first place on his way out of WrestleMania. However, things didn't work out at that time. After remaining a heel for 3 months, longer than initially planned, Owens will finally get the chance to play a good guy. Meltzer says, and I quote, "It's very clear that this is a babyface turn for Owens, who just turned heel a couple of months ago. I hate this back and forth, but originally he was supposed to be a babyface. The heel turn was just a last-ditch effort because Daniel Bryan got hurt, and now he's getting back to where they wanted him originally." So you give me no explanation, and you take Kevin Owens from a heel in which he plays better than anything to put him in a babyface role, which I'm sure he will be fine in, but not as better as a heel. I don't get it. So he goes from all of these months on TV, feuding with Biggie, feuding with Xavier, feuding with Kofi, getting in Kofi's way, teaming with Sammy against the New Day, and now it means nothing. So WWE here is taking Kevin Owens out of a role in which he plays greater than a babyface, and all of these weeks and months and matches that we've seen on Raw and SmackDown have been rendered useless. I'm glad you enjoyed these Raws and SmackDowns, folks, because at the end of the year, they will have meant absolutely nothing to anybody, and I don't know how anybody could sit there and say, yeah, it was a good show. Awful. Just awful fucking logic. So where does he go from here? Kevin Owens turning babyface means what? Exactly. You turn him babyface, who's he going to feud with? Dolph? Spare me. Kofi's the babyface champion. You're not going to feud Kevin Owens as a babyface versus babyface Kofi. So where does Kevin Owens exactly fit into this deal? What you should have did is coming out of the last pay-per-view, teaming with Sammy, and put them in the tag team division. What the fuck do I know? They beat the New Day in what could have been a great tag team title match. Then you turn him babyface for no reason. You feud him with Dolph. You team him with Dolph first. I don't know why you didn't team him with Sammy. No, you want to team with Dolph instead of Sammy, and then you want to turn him babyface. So what does this mean for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn now? You're going to feud them? Go back to the good old rinse and repeat? Give me a break. Nobody wants to see that either. So hold your horses before you ever get into this Kevin Owens babyface run. What are you exactly going to do with Kevin Owens? Guarantee you they go right back to the Sami Zayn shit. And again, did Kevin Owens explain to Sami Zayn what he was doing? Nothing works here. Nothing makes sense. Absolutely nothing makes sense. I don't like it. Kevin Owens needs to be a heel. A fucking heel. All because you had things happen that you didn't want to happen. Now you're doing something that doesn't need to happen here. Moving on. I don't get it. I'm not even in the position to even think about what they do with Kevin Owens because there's nobody on the fucking roster to feud with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, by the way, is a loser and needs to be built up in a significant way before anybody takes him seriously as a fucking babyface. Vince McMahon, speaking of the New Day, could reportedly have an incentive to take the WWE title off of Kofi Kingston. What does this mean? So, Brad Shepard is reporting that apparently the thought within WWE is that Kofi Kingston's merch sales are in a slump, and that Vince McMahon could look at that as being more than enough reason to have Kingston drop the WWE title and not, quote-unquote, delay the inevitable, end quote. He says, and I quote Brad Shepard, according to my source in WWE, New Day's merch sales are dipping. The internal thought is that Kofi Kingston's merch sales continue to dip. That could give Vince McMahon incentive to have him drop the title and not delay the inevitable. Nobody can remain WWE champion forever. However, Kofi Kingston is probably still selling more t-shirts than any other WWE champion outside of AJ Styles in recent memory. Remember, Bryan didn't have t-shirts because he lived the gimmick. Who else was there? Jinder Mahal? Yeah, sure. I'm sure he was a great merchandise seller. So, Kofi Kingston right now is 90 plus days at well, I think it's about 90 plus days, right? Coming out of WrestleMania. We had WrestleMania, you have all April, June, May, June, right? Yeah, roughly. I would say so. Terrible with math, but whatever the case may be. He's been champion since WrestleMania, since April 7th. But as far as Kingston and the WWE title, I know I'm not the only podcast that thinks so. I don't mean this in any disrespectful way to Kofi Kingston. You know, we can sit here and talk about the direction of his babyface run as WWE champion. And listen, WWE has made Kofi, out of all the champions they currently have right now on the roster, he's the most legit champion. I don't like the way that they have him come out flipping fucking pancakes as if he's working at Denny's every single week, you know? But that is a story for a different day. I don't want my WWE champion flipping pancakes. That's just the way I see it. You know, I'm not saying that he can't do the New Day shtick with the New Day. Clearly, he could do it when he's with the New Day. But when he's out there by himself and he is not a threesome with the New Day, Kofi Kingston should not be flipping pancakes. He got attacked by Samoa Joe on Monday Night Raw, and then the next night on SmackDown Live, he comes out and he's throwing fucking pancakes. I mean, Samoa Joe just coquina clutched you on stage after delivering a uranagi on the stage to you. He made you pass out on stage, and you come out the next day happy and jolly as can be, flipping pancakes. I don't understand this shit. You don't come out with any bandages. You don't come out with any wrestling one-on-one. You're not selling the attack. He's out there fucking taking orders for pancakes. You want extra syrup on the side? Butter? All right, you want a side of bacon or sausage? I don't get it. Kofi Kingston's run as WWE Champion, yes, they put legit challenges in front of him. AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and Dolph Ziggler. Whatever you think of Dolph Ziggler, it's a WWE Championship. Successful defenses. Sami Zayn, whatever the case may be. They lined him up, he's beating them all. But how legit is Dolph Ziggler? How legit is Sami Zayn? How legit is Kevin Owens? They're not. They're not. They're lining up losers. How legit is Samoa Joe? In theory, Samoa Joe is legit. But if you watch WWE television, Samoa Joe doesn't have any legitimacy. He doesn't have any wins accumulated coming out of WrestleMania. He lost the United States title to Ricochet. Why is he even in a WWE Championship match to begin with? Why is he even in a WWE Championship match against Kofi Kingston when he's on Monday Night Raw? No explanation as to even why he attacked Kofi Kingston. You could say that he made an explanation on SmackDown Live, but he didn't. It was half-assed. And it fits into the narrative that WWE wants predictable television. And it's not predictable because I don't buy into anything Samoa Joe says, because he talks a big game, and then when the time comes, he is nothing more than the old Bray Wyatt. Blah, 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 blah. It sounds great. Give him the title. Come the pay-per-view, he's a loser. Come the pay-per-view, Trouble in Paradise, and a legit monster, badass in Samoa Joe is taking another 3 count. Kofi Kingston's run as WWE Champion, though they're lining opponents up for him, is not legit in any sense of the word. And it's boring. It legitimately is boring. The honeymoon phase has come and gone quickly with Kofi Kingston. I don't know who's sitting here wants Kofi Kingston as the WWE Champion right now, or better yet, going into SmackDown Live in October on Fox Sports. Because you know that's going to come quicker than you could think. It'll be here. And Kofi's not going to be the WWE Champion. Now, I hope that they don't go with Shane McMahon. I don't know who else on the roster could vie for a WWE title at SummerSlam. They need to make it big. Needs to be big. I don't know what they're going to do. Big Bad Roman is still in the picture. Shane McMahon is still in the picture. Who else is there? There is nobody else. Randy Orton, he's been waiting, doing a lot of nothing. I could see WWE wanting Randy Orton as the WWE Champion going into October on Fox Sports. Randy Orton is a veteran. He's a known name. He's a household name, right? Maybe they bring back John Cena, have him challenge Kofi Kingston, and John Cena's the WWE Champion going into SmackDown Live. Or maybe Brock Lesnar cashes in on Kofi Kingston and not Seth Rollins, and it was all just one big ploy after all. Either way you look at it, a big notable household name is going into SmackDown Live on Fox Sports as the WWE Champion. It's not going to be pancake flipping, extra syrup, extra bacon on the side, Kofi Kingston. That's just the way it is. You talk about inevitable. It's inevitable that he's going to lose the title. The honeymoon is over. I don't find him to be interesting whatsoever. I don't find this Samoa Joe feud to be interesting. I don't give a shit who they put him in the ring with at SummerSlam. It's not going to be interesting. You did it. He reached his limit. The peak was WrestleMania, and you expected the fall off. Don't be surprised when he loses the title, and Vince takes the title off of him, whether it's now or going into SummerSlam. It's going to be the inevitable, no question, with Kofi Kingston. Or better yet, how about the New Day just completely go away, and WWE tries their hand with another New Day member, Big E. Rumors are swirling around once again that Big E could have a heel turn according to a variety of sources. There have been rumors swirling around about their breakup. This was before WrestleMania. And with new creative influences in control, apparently these rumors have reemerged once again. Kofi has commented in the past about how the New Day is never breaking up, but it's really not their call if what is in the script makes sense. Joe Peisch on Barn Burner Radio Network said there's a rumor going around that Big E, take this with a grain of salt by the way, Big E might be the one who turns on the New Day and Kofi Kingston. This could come at a very interesting time as well, because Kofi Kingston's current champion is current status as WWE champion right now is kind of dwindling down. He says, and I quote, Big E, there are several rumors going around. Big E may be turning heel. Yes, E may be turning heel in the WWE. I don't know. Again, take that with a grain of salt. Big E, first of all of New Day is incredibly talented. Big E and Xavier Woods are very underrated. I could see Big E in a singles heel role. See what happens. But I don't really think that's where WWE is going to go with this. If that is the case, I hope that they have a good plan of action for it. And again, they might take the title off him in just traditional means. It could be just a notable name who comes in, swoops in, and takes the title off of Kofi. I don't know. But I wouldn't mind that at all. I don't know if Big E's going to be ready for a WWE Championship run, taking the title of one New Day member and putting it on another. But Big E turning heel, I think that could be a new day. I think it really could be a breath of fresh air. Now, I know Eric Bischoff has been on record saying that he would turn Roman Reigns heel. I wish he had the power to do that, but you know the stroke of the pen doesn't work that way. And he's not going to have that type of power as executive director. I wish. But Big E, I think it's more feasible to see Big E turn heel than, say, a Roman Reigns. So we'll see what happens. Listen, Big E versus Kofi is much better than Shane McMahon versus Kofi Kingston, with Shane McMahon being the new WWE champion. Just saying. And who knows? We might get Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre winning against The Undertaker and Roman Reigns, and that could very well set up SummerSlam. Shane is on top of the world. I've conquered Reigns, and now The Undertaker. I'm giving myself a WWE Championship match. God, I hope not. I just put that out there in the universe, folks. Holy shit. Aleister Black versus his mystery opponent at Extreme Rules. This is going to be SmackDown Live is reporting, or SmackDown Live is, I guess, advertising Aleister Black's opponents for Extreme Rules to come forth on this Tuesday show. Now, it isn't 100% confirmed, but WrestleVotes reports that Cesaro is currently slated to be the man on the other side of Aleister Black's door. It says, and I quote, Aleister Black, as of now, is scheduled to work Extreme Rules. I can't 100% confirm his opponent, but as of the recent sources that I've heard from, WWE has decided on Cesaro. We'll see. End quote. Aleister Black versus Cesaro would be a fantastic matchup, and it would be an easy out for WWE to give Cesaro a loss there. Not really going to hurt Cesaro in any way. And it gets Aleister Black in the win column. I want to dead the rumors right now of it being Bray Wyatt. That would be absolutely catastrophic. You cannot have that be Bray Wyatt. First of all, if you want Aleister Black versus Bray Wyatt, I could see that happening at WrestleMania when both men have had ample time on the main roster and are undefeated. That's a WrestleMania match that you could book at WrestleMania 36. Bray Wyatt undefeated versus Aleister Black undefeated. There you go. Aleister Black, look at this. It's amazing. It's like he's in tune with me. Aleister Black's knocker is going to be Randy Orton. That's what my buddy Jesse says. I could see that as well. Randy Orton has had nothing to do. On the main roster. Could be. Again, I don't see Randy Orton really losing in that sense, but if WWE wants to make Extreme Rules not stomping grounds, having Aleister Black come out on Tuesday and be revealed that Randy Orton is the guy, I would say 6 days before the pay-per-view. I think that's great. We'll see what happens. Cesaro, Orton, I don't care either way. Either match is going to be great. And it would go right into what I mentioned a couple weeks ago. The RKO versus the Black Mass. The Black Mass is the new version of the RKO. It literally comes out of nowhere. Done. Once you are hit with it, you are over. We'll see what happens. Maybe Randy Orton. Randy Orton has been putting over Aleister Black on the house show, so it could very well be. We'll see. But this Tuesday we'll know more as to where Aleister Black fits into the rules of Extreme. We have Finn Balor. He's also advertised on SmackDown Live to be going one-on-one with Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, I don't know why this wasn't saved for the pay-per-view, but on the same side of the fence, I don't know why it was even announced that these two were feuding. Doesn't make any sense. Balor hasn't been on TV in 2 months. Hasn't wrestled in 2 months as Intercontinental Champion on WWE TV outside of Super Showdown with Almas. And now you're putting him in a feud with Shinsuke Nakamura, who's also been off TV. So where has Finn Balor been? Are you going to explain that? Are you going to explain why Shinsuke Nakamura is getting an Intercontinental Championship match? I don't know. Again, I don't understand what WWE's logic is, but Balor won the belt at WrestleMania 35, has barely been featured or defended his title. Sucks to be the IC title. This, unfortunately, is a bit of a trend starting in WWE. Roman Reigns, for instance, has barely appeared on SmackDown Live, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Less Roman, the better. So, WWE has this Intercontinental Championship, completely irrelevant. Finn was confronted by Shinsuke last week, and that was confirmed to be a match on SmackDown Live this Tuesday. I'm guessing it's going to be if Nakamura beats Balor, he gets a title match at the pay-per-view, because this is WWE programming, folks. Titles mean shit, and logic goes right out the window. I want to see who deems this logical on Tuesday night. WWE needs to move away ASAP from, the challenger being booked against the champion in a very nonchalant way. Neither man has been on TV. The challenger beats the champion. Champion loses on TV. Then the champion's got to defend against the guy who just beat him on TV at the pay-per-view. It's not the way things should be. It should be the other way around. It should be the challenger beating multiple opponents week to week to week to week, and then get the champion at the pay-per-view while the champion continues to win, and they both look strong. But WWE doesn't know, or is not in the business of people looking strong, or making people look strong. I don't agree with it, but the plebeians and the simpletons out there will, it's a fresh matchup. But how are you explaining to me this fresh matchup? Why does it make sense when neither man has been on TV? I'd love for you to explain. Booker T says The Undertaker returned to make up for Super Showdown. Well, Booker T was also pulled from StarCast because WWE said, no way, bro. Booker T speculated on his podcast that Taker came back because he had a bad taste in his mouth due to the tragic Super Showdown main event match with Goldberg. Undertaker made his return back to the ring on Raw, saving Reigns from Shane O'Mac and Drew McIntyre. No one thought that they would see The Undertaker this soon after Super Showdown in what we would call the incident. No one thought we would see him this soon. But me, personally, I think Taker was thinking, man, I got to get this bad taste out of my mouth. I got to get rid of it and do something to make me forget. Now, that's Booker T's explanation. The Undertaker's return was actually planned before Bill Goldberg. Undertaker's return for Extreme Rules is not something that just came up this week or the last week based on the bad numbers or the Super Showdown pay-per-view with Goldberg. Whether this is an angle for SummerSlam is unknown, but it makes no sense to use him on Extreme Rules and not SummerSlam. It's interesting that Undertaker's coming back for another program so soon. After all, he did say he wanted to work smarter this year and not take so many dates so close to each other. Let's see what happens here, but the dead man returned to save Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. The match is being set up for July 14th. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that the return was actually planned well in advance before Super Showdown. Whatever the case may be, the Undertaker's returning. You could put many an excuse there. It could be Super Showdown. It could be the fact that the Undertaker didn't want to wrestle that Super Showdown match without redeeming himself. It could be the ratings. It could be the fact that WWE is slumping right now. It could be the fact that WWE didn't want Extreme Rules to be stomping grounds all over again, where they have to continually go to 2-for-1, 3-for-1 ticket sales. They wanted The Undertaker advertised for the card in a match, and they wanted to use his name value to get people in the door so that they don't get another stomping grounds. That's what I think it is. That's exactly what I think it is. Panic button hit. Call The Undertaker. Can't be anything else. Could be a mixture of all those other things, but if you're asking me for one major thing as to why The Undertaker's back, Stomping Grounds did terrible. WWE wasn't on a repeat of Stomping Grounds with Extreme Rules. Now, where he goes for SummerSlam, I heard rumors of The Undertaker versus Baron Corbin at SummerSlam. In fact, I hope it happens just to see the reaction of everybody who says, oh, Baron Corbin's a good heel. I can't wait. I can't wait to see all the people saying that Baron Corbin is a legit main eventer and then complain that he's in a fucking match with The Undertaker. That's the rumor. Now, there was rumors going around that The Undertaker and Drew McIntyre was happening at SummerSlam, but based on what we're seeing right now, that could very well be, and WWE plans could have changed from Baron Corbin to Drew McIntyre. I don't care either way. But The Undertaker has reportedly already handpicked his WrestleMania opponent for April to be Drew McIntyre. Brad Shepard reports on the Oh You Didn't Know podcast that The Undertaker has handpicked his WrestleMania 36 opponent. That man is Drew McIntyre, which works out for a couple of reasons. According to a source in WWE, Drew McIntyre is currently scheduled to be Undertaker's opponent at WrestleMania 36. They decided to start the program early to boost ratings, which is why you saw The Undertaker on Raw this past week. Shane is likely to play into it somehow. He says, and I quote, I'm told The Undertaker had handpicked Drew McIntyre and it works out well for Drew because they have no creative plans for him after Roman. End quote. There you go. There you go. I don't know if WWE has the creative ability to book Drew McIntyre all through the summer months on into WrestleMania 36 with The Undertaker, but we'll see what happens. I see WWE short term being greater than the long term, and they might want to get Drew McIntyre versus Undertaker at SummerSlam, and then they could probably do Finn Balor versus The Undertaker, Demon versus The Phenom at WrestleMania. How much longer is The Undertaker going to be able to go? That's the question. I know for a fact that just from the people that I've spoken to, and I know people who know people internally, I know for a fact that Drew McIntyre Brad Shepard's report is 100% legit. I know for a fact that Drew McIntyre was one of the names that The Undertaker has handpicked, chosen, that he wants to wrestle at some point, whether it's SummerSlam, WrestleMania, or anywhere in between. He wants Drew McIntyre in the ring. For reasons that are not yet known, but I know Drew McIntyre has spoken so highly of The Undertaker that when Drew was just starting out in the WWE, that The Undertaker was there to help him, and he's always shown respect to Drew, and that respect was always shown right back to The Undertaker. So I know that to be 100% fact. I also know that The Undertaker has okayed not only Drew McIntyre, but Finn Balor as well. When that happens, I don't know. I thought it was going to happen this year. I really thought it was going to happen this year. The reason why they gave Finn Balor Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, I thought that they were going to go all the way with the Demon gimmick and do it at WrestleMania against The Undertaker. You could very well save that for WrestleMania next year. If WWE wants a marquee match, I could easily see The Undertaker versus the Demon, and I've said it then, I'm going to say it now. I honestly think The Undertaker should be in the ring with guys like Finn Balor, because not only will they be able to sell for The Undertaker and make him look like the old Undertaker, but it's not going to be as strenuous, and it's not going to be a point where he's in the ring with somebody the same size as him, and The Undertaker now at his old age, at this point of his career, not able to do a chokeslam, or not able to do a last ride, or fumble a tombstone. He won't be able to do that with Finn Balor. It's going to look like the Undertaker of old with a guy like Finn Balor. That's why I'm worried about him being in the ring with Baron Corbin or Drew McIntyre. After that Goldberg thing, I don't know why anybody would want to see the Undertaker in the ring at all. I know why the Undertaker would want to be back in there for his own reasons, but if you're going to give me the Undertaker, I don't know how much longer we're going to sit here and say, oh, I'm excited for the Undertaker after what we've seen at Super Showdown. That's why these events, they are long-lasting and damaging, not only to The Undertaker and his legacy, but they're damaging to us, because not only have we lost a lot of respect for said Undertaker, but we don't have any desire to see him in the ring, because we don't want to see our childhood heroes embarrass themselves and go through what a lot of the older guys tend to do. They can't give it up for whatever reason, and they're well past their prime, and they're never going to be anywhere close to what we know of them. Sucks. I think do Drew at SummerSlam and do Finn Balor at WrestleMania. That's what I would do. Baron Corbin? Fuck Baron Corbin. I don't give a shit what they do with Baron Corbin. Don't put him in the ring with The Undertaker. Finally, guys, before we get the hell out of here, there was a huge report going around this weekend, that The Undertaker was dropping, or not The Undertaker, but the WWE was dropping teases for The Undertaker and Sting in a big way. Now, this match is completely not out of the question, because what the Saudi Prince wants, the Saudi Prince is going to get. And there's no doubt in my mind that one of these years could happen in November. Could happen next year, next April. I don't know. Or next May when we see fucking Crown Jewel 6. I don't know. But The Undertaker and Sting, I just have this weird feeling we are going to see it in Saudi Arabia. How many legends does WWE have to bring forth to Saudi Arabia to get that government pleased? Not really many. And if Sting is okay, and he gets cleared, and The Undertaker is The Undertaker, and the money is presented to both of them, are they going to say no? The answer is no. But there were huge teases for this. And everybody was like, oh my God, here's The Undertaker and Sting. The match is going to happen. That was debunked. That rumor was killed. And WWE really piqued a lot of the fans' interest when they photoshopped the picture of The Undertaker. Old school Undertaker. Teardrop Undertaker. With Sting in the same ring. And they captioned it as Imagine. Yeah, I could have imagined it when those vignettes were cut with The Undertaker in the long black trench coat, walking towards the log cabin in the fucking rain. That was supposed to be for Sting. And nobody can confirm to me at all that, that was never meant for Sting. Give me a break. That was meant for Sting. Sting at that point and The Undertaker would have made all the sense in the world. Then. Now? No. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. I have no interest in it. So they photoshopped this picture of The Undertaker and Sting with the caption of Imagine. This really has gotten a lot of people excited. I don't know why. If they could make this match happen, it's going to happen in Saudi Arabia. It's not going to happen for the WWE on a regular pay-per-view, not at a WrestleMania. But it's definitely going to happen in Saudi Arabia. That's what I feel. But it was all for a new WWE YouTube show called Reimagined. It's more of a what-if series. Or what if The Undertaker went to WCW and became a face of WCW and he met Sting in a WCW ring? Or a what if Sting came to the WWE after leaving TNA and came to the WWE and fought The Undertaker back several years ago when those vignettes did air, which I believe were for Sting. Then he said he's not coming to the WWE, and WWE had these vignettes and they gave it to The Undertaker. So it's more of a what if, a reimagined of what could have been fantasy booking, a dream match, if the time was right, or if the cards fell into place when they should have. That's what this entire tease was about. A new YouTube series, reimagined, for dream matches that never happened, and fans still want to happen this very day. So, that was debunked. Everybody's going out of their mind. Undertaker vs. Sting is going to happen. Yeah, you may get to see it. You may get to see it in Saudi Arabia, but I wouldn't expect it anytime soon. And if it does happen, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. The money speaks volumes. And if WWE wants their legends in Saudi Arabia, there's not many legends to go around anymore. Undertaker's still alive and kicking. Sting, if he gets cleared, I could see it happening. Definitely. Not this year. If not this year, next year. I'm not interested in it whatsoever. I'm getting out of here, guys. Thank you so very much. Part 3 of Off the Script on Sunday. There you go. I might be back tonight with Impact Slammiversary. We got Sami Callihan versus Tessa Blanchard. I'm very interested to see what those two could do in the ring together. So we'll see what happens. And we got a triple threat match with the North, LAX, and the Rascals that I'm very interested in. Could very well be LAX's final Impact match. If I'm a betting man, I'm going to say, yeah, it is their last Impact match because either they're going to be All Elite or they're going to NXT. They're done in Impact. So I might end up covering the show. I might watch it and cover the show after the show is over tonight. So look forward to that. See you guys next week right back here on Off the Script 282. Thank you all so very much. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Harry's.com/script. Audibletrial.com/Off the Script. And make sure you guys go and check out all the other videos that you might have missed this week. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and Off the Script on Friday and Saturday, respectively, man. Thank you all so very much. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you right back here with Slammiversary, probably tonight, and then right back here for a new week with Monday Night's Raw. Paul Heyman, week 2. We'll see if anything really changes this week, but with the show being advertised, we're getting Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns and a partner of his choosing. I don't think we're going to be expecting too much of a change this week outside of last week, so we'll see what happens. Until then, guys, take care. I'll see you for Monday Night Raw.